Good evening, friends. Welcome to this session. There's a lot of news that we need to share with you, as well as please give me your comments and also welcome Lena, as always. And as I said, we really enjoy reading your, very intelligent comments and the questions that you ask our, panelists. Thank you so much. So let's start with today's news. Let's go to the person who is now, in the focus now. We're talking about none other than Sanjay Kapur. Now, this demise of a dollar billionaire, Sanjay Kapoor's farewell tour. So, as everybody knows, this is a sheer tragedy. The world of Indian high society has been utterly rocked by the sudden, entirely unforeseen, and quite frankly, utterly inconvenient passing of Sanjay Kapur, who was 53 years old. Now, inconvenient, I would say, for some people, for the others, very convenient as well. The man who, in a truly aspirational twist of fate, dropped dead mid polo match in the UK, because how else would a 1.2 billion magnate exit the stage? Now, he has left behind not just a grieving family, but also the rather inconvenient task of figuring out who inherits his paltry 10,300 crore personal fortune and his 40,000 crore automotive empire, Sona Comstar. One might almost think he hasn't planned this grand departure. Now, welcome Dhanashri, always nice to see you. And welcome Sujata, always nice to see you. Just came in to say hello and happy, yes, same to you. And Lena says, had he not played the polo match, the bee would have not stung him. He would not have been dead. Absolutely. And but why Sanjay's family is not talking about his death? Now we're just going to explore this, Dhanashri. So please pay attention as we speak. So let's speak a little bit about this man. Now Sanjay was born in Michigan in 1971, and he comes from a distinguished Punjabi family, because naturally all billionaires simply must have distinguished origins. Seamlessly, he transitioned from the land of opportunity to Delhi, taking the reins of Sona Group after his father. Now, his company, a beacon of automotive excellence, supplied seven of the top 10 car manufacturers globally, valiantly pushing forward the EV revolution. But let's be honest, who cares about electric cars when there's juicy personal drama, to dissect? And now this personal drama, his divorce from actress Karishma Kapoor. So let's move on to the earlier pictures. Yeah, that was the marriage picture, and this was his present wife. I Here you have Karishma and Karina along with him, and here you have happier moments with Karishma. Okay, so moving on to now the personal drama. Now, his divorce from actress Karishma was a veritable masterpiece of public acrimony, defying all initial pretensions of mutual consent. Karishma dared to utter claims of domestic abuse, even alleging he forced her into uncomfortable situations where it said that he auctioned her to his friends on their honeymoon night. Now, a truly unfathomable accusation for a man of his stature, and the audacity of his mother allegedly slapping a pregnant Karishma over a dress disagreement. So now all this comes across as very, very vulgar, is what we understand. Because why would the mother-in-law want to slap a daughter-in-law, and that also of someone at that time? Karishma was a known figure, and she wasn't someone who was unknown. And now the divorce settlement, a monument to dignified separation, saw Karishma reportedly receiving a modest home in Khar, and now I'm being sarcastic, a mere 14 crores in bonds for their children. Now, did we also, if I have not mentioned that, let me also mention the additional 10 lakh monthly interest, because clearly these children born into such an illustrious lineage. So let me just get the latest picture. So these are the children now. at the funeral. They were there. Now, so they also these children, they also got you say that they come from an illustrious lineage. They would have otherwise faced absolute destitution. This isn't a court ordered child support arrangement, mind you. It's a shining example of legacy planning, a spontaneous gush of paternal affection from a man who, until his untimely demise, was perfectly capable of commanding a multi billion-dollar enterprise. Now, all this comes as very, very shocking because suddenly this man who has been painted as a monster by Karishma and her whole clan has suddenly become a very kind man and a very benevolent man. Now, let's not forget the ringing endorsement from Karishma's own father, Ranbir Kapoor, who famously deemed Sanjay a third-class man earlier, proudly proclaiming that Kapoors don't need to run after anybody's money. Clearly, a family that values principles over the trifling sum of 10,300 crores. So, in which case, when the Kapoors are not running after money, then why did Ranbir Kapoor marry Alia? Is the next question. Okay, because Alia Bhatt is not quite a a glamorous beauty. So he married her for certain reasons. So now, what Ranveer says, Ranveer Kapoor, who is Karishma's father, says that they're not running after money. Now, this question will come then Ranveer Kapoor, why did he marry Mahesh Bhatt's daughter? Okay. So now let's forget the ringing endorsement from Karishma's own father. Now, Ranbir, who, he says that we don't need to run after anybody's money. Now, the sudden flurry of Bollywood's condolences at Karishma's house post-mortem from Kareena Kapoor to Saif Ali Khan. Now, I did find, uh, rather strange that Saif Ali was in the shadows, watching all this procedure wearing cooling glasses. Okay, now I'm just surprised that why did this fellow come for the funeral? And why was Kareena Kapoor crying like this is what is my question. I mean, none of them were attached to this man at all. In fact, they have portrayed him as a brute. Okay. Now, Saif Ali, watches from the shadows. I was just watching a particular scene where he's watching them from the car, and he looks more like these third-class mafia people you see in the movies, watching something happening or a funeral, that sort of thing. So this is also suddenly everybody comes for the funeral, and everybody from Kareena Kapoor to Saif Ali Khan almost seems to perfectly orchestrated. Don't you think so? One almost smells a rat, a whiff of a plot like the infamous Saif Ali stabbing story, designed to paint a picture of family solidarity, ever, and discreet grief. Because in this high stakes world of wealth and celebrity, nothing, absolutely nothing, is ever quite as simple as it seems. Least of all the demise of a man who left behind billions and yet somehow still managed to become the subject of such fascinating postmortem analysis. So now, what I found, rather strange is that Karishma Kapoor was actually hogging all the limelight at the funeral. So she was, yeah. So she was, doing everything as though she had the right to do everything, the ceremony. Whereas his wife Priya was pushed into the background. Priya Sachdev. Now, the last rite took place on June 19, 2025, at Lodi Road Cremation Ground in New Delhi. Now, she was also dressed in white, Priya. She appeared heartbroken as she arrived for the ceremony and breaking down in tears. Now, Sanjay and Priya had got married in 2017, and they have a son named Azarias. Now, Sanjay's funeral was reportedly delayed due to formalities related to his British citizenship. It was Priya's father who had earlier confirmed that the last rites would be held in New Delhi. Now, here, what I find very strange is that Karishma, with her children Kian and Samaira, were the ones, almost they were smothering the whole show. They were the ones who were, acting as though their beloved, loved one had passed away. I don't even know how these people were connected to this man who they spoke of in such, bad terms. So you see that Bollywood is a very strange place where, everything seems so plasticky. Everything seems like, all this plastic surgery that they do on their face. For example, recently I found, one of those item girls who comes for item songs. She had so much of Botox applied to her forehead that now she looks as though she's crying all the time. So, so the moment you see her, the first thing you would ask her is that, why are you so upset? Because, her forehead looks as though she is, worried or she's crying. So, somebody said that, the Botox went wrong. And that's how her face looks now. So, let me just take a few comments. Nina says, had he not played that polo match, the bee would have not stung him. He would not have died. Now, here, Lena, I do find it very strange because, see, usually in these Donald Duck cartoons, you'll find, bees stinging Donald Trump. I'm not Donald Trump, Donald Duck. And, Donald Duck running all over trying to take vengeance on the little bee. Now, it seems as though it must be the same bee that this man has swallowed, and which led to his cardiac arrest. So, I mean, how much of a story are you going to weave to make people understand that he died because of the bee? It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, now even the cardiac arrest. Now, to support this story, a lot of the PR people are going around, taking cases, earlier cases, past incidents where some people have died, at the polo field or the golf course, where through cardiac arrest. Now, have you noticed? See, when people are not convinced, when the public is not convinced about a story, it is at that time the PR have been given a free, reign to write whatever they want to convince the public that there is, nothing wrong. It is all, a natural death. That this man died very, peacefully. It was just a heart attack, and that too because he's, very stressed out. Such things. So you would believe it if this man, actually looked stressed out. But he was a man who was enjoying his third marriage, and he had his children, and he was very happy. So where did the problem come in? And moreover, if you look at Karishma, Karina, and Saif Ali, you realize that there is something very, very wrong in that family. That Karina Kapoor is not happy is very clear from her face and her behavior, because she has those expressions even at a party. She's so sort of on your face, where she tells you what she's thinking. Now, especially after the stabbing incident where an imaginary man came from Bangladesh and tried to stab Saif Ali so many times, but he never left any fingerprints. So police had to put their really intelligent brains together and say that this was the man who crossed the river and came and wrecked the area and tried to stab and kill Saif. Now, it's very strange because, I always feel that Saif Ali Khan has a very soft corner for Karishma. And Karishma seems to be very, very comfortable in Saif Ali's presence. Even when she's, boarding a private jet, he's the one who follows her all around. So sometimes you almost get the feeling that who is the couple here? And then, of course, there are rumors that come from the house itself, where the servants start saying very shocking things, of course, which we cannot repeat here. But yes, there is something strange going on in that house. And then, of course, even during the stabbing incident, how stupid it was when he said that he took his son along with him in a rickshaw, and he came like, roared like a lion, though he was bleeding, was what the hospital said. So everything about that incident and this incident seems very, very, sort of related, because suddenly this man who was living a very luxurious life in the UK and who was very happy with his wife, apparently, now he has suddenly become so kind. towards the woman who has been, bad mouthing him all these years. So that it comes as a surprise that okay, now they have children, so you would say that see, yeah, he loved the children, and hence he's, leaving, some of his legacy to them. But the amount that is being left is quite a lot. So that also brings about a few doubts. So let me just take a few comments because all of you are, uh, you know, yeah. So let's just say, welcome, Priya. And Karishma and Sanjay's marriage was the talk of town at that time as divorce. And you remember, the very reason that Karishma did not marry Amitabh's son was because Babita actually did not want to invite some people from the Kapoor Khandan. And it said that Amitabh Bachchan didn't agree, and that's how the engagement or marriage broke off. So from there, you can understand that Babita is not the easiest person to sort of relate with, and people have always sort of portrayed her as a very avaricious woman, someone who really cares about money. And how true that is, we really do not know. But anyway, she had a very unhappy marriage with Ranbir Kapoor, and people said it was because he was almost an alcoholic that she left him. But a lot of the people say that there were other accusations from Babita after Sanjay left Karishma. Now let's just take a few more comments coming in. Uh, Milburn says, if he was filthy rich, why would he auction her? So that's a brilliant, question, Milburn, coming from you. And then welcome, Rekha, and welcome, Aban. Now, Lena says their divorce became a public tamasha that courts had to tell them how to conduct the. Yes, that was another very important point. At that time, they had made such an ugly scene of it, and now as though he's become very very kind towards her, and he's left her so much of fortune is quite a surprise. And it was also said that she was deliberately trying to keep the third wife at bay, his present wife at bay, while she did all the ceremonies with her children. So perhaps she was also scared that all the money may go to his present wife. Now, Lena says they want to know how much Karishma is getting. Karishma got 80 crores, I think. See, so it is not a small joke. And you remember, even for 35 lakhs, Saif Ali, we think, had allegedly, done that act, saying that someone stabbed him so many times, and that he got an insurance for so many lakhs. When it was 35 lakhs he had asked for, but he got 25 lakhs. The rest would have gone to someone else. And being Saif Ali, nobody believes. Everybody knows that this man cannot be trusted. Aban says, poor bees are, yes, absolutely, blamed for no reason. Now Karishma is still pretending to be, but being his widow when she's so, close to, the other character, who I'm talking about. No photos of his polo match. Strange, because everyone is always with their mobile filming. Yes, there are, Milpam, there are some videos of his playing the polo match. So that's still there, in those shots. And he had many girls as friends in spite of marrying 3 times. He enjoyed his life to the fullest, just like Vinod Mehra, 3 marriage. And yet they say that he died of a cardiac arrest. So, of course, it's not that it can't be a cardiac arrest, but the fact is that there seems to be something very, very fishy in this death. You remember, let me just take you back to, Malaika Arora's, stepfather's death. Now, this man was also hale and hearty. And they say suddenly he just walked to the balcony, took off his slippers. Okay, just think, it's just like Disha Salian removing her clothes and committing suicide. So he walked to the balcony, he removed his slippers, and he jumped out. Now, who was the first one to arrive at the scene? None other than Arbaz Khan. Now, who is Arbaz Khan? The man that Malaika hated and who she had divorced. Now, all these people who are, not even connected, they all come to the scene to console her. And then you have Arjun Kapoor. and all these people coming into the scene. Now, why would this man just commit suicide? He seemed to be very happy with Malaika's mother. Everywhere you could see them laughing and smiling and going for all these events. And his bank balance should also be checked. How rich was he? Would be the next question. Okay. So this incident also reminds me of that, because they said that Malaika and her sister went into depression. But when you look at them, they looked absolutely normal. But of course, Bollywood is great at acting. you know. So that's how this scene also resemble Karishma and Karina. I don't know why the hell Karina is crying. I mean, in what way was she connected with this man? They divorced long time back. So what are these people trying to show? Is the question. Are you trying to show that everything was so hunky dory, that he was so fond of Karishma and the children, that he left such a huge amount for them? So that's also a very strange, for us. Even 10 years kid will not get convinced, yes, with the story. And Dhanashri says, actually, Babita was the reason. Yes, absolutely. And not only that, even with with Amitabh Bachchan's son, also it was this lady who was, responsible. He was killed, is what Tatya says. It seems rather obvious that there's something very, very, fishy has happened, Tatya, because we just can't say it's a cardiac, right? Because this man is so rich. And then you know the way the cabal works. This much percentage goes to someone, that much percentage goes to someone, and everybody is happy. And then they wait for the next, death. Then what happens is, what we've noticed is that, so that the people who matter don't speak, they are silenced. For example, this wife Priya, who may be knowing everything about what happened, I'm sure she's being silenced so that she doesn't speak the truth. And I don't know whether what is the procedure of silencing, because why we are coming to these conclusions is the fact that what is happening in the DD case. In the DD case, is very clearly said that any of these whistleblowers, any people who are going to talk, just like Sushant Singh Rajput and Disha Salian were going to do, they are hushed forever. They are eliminated. They are erased. So that happened to also Shukla, the actor, and then it happened to so many others who were going to speak out. It was with Praveen Badi, it was with Sri Devi. So they were all allegedly eliminated, is what people come to understand. And that's why time and again, the people who are left behind, their relatives say that we loved her, we did this, we did that. Actually, you don't need to say anything. If you loved her, you loved her. But when you try to convince the public that you love these people, then you know that there's something really fishy. Lina says, apparently the bee caused severe allergy that caused heart attack, according to the doctor. And now the recent news is that, Lina, that no, it was not a bee. Now, actually, Kapoor family is a misogynist, especially Raj Kapoor. He never allowed his daughters and daughter-in-law to work in the industry. Yes, because he knew exactly how dirty it is. And Shreya says, hello, ma'am. Happy to see you. Always nice to see you. And why people from Bollywood jump to the conclusion that every death is either an accident or a suicide. Well said, Katya. And his last tweet was on the Ahmedabad crash. Yesterday, one of his office staff read a few stanzas from his old diary saying he was missing Karishma and was sorry for the nasty divorce. He was missing it. Yeah. So now comes the, the what you call, they're weaving the right PR content. Now they will, if we will not be surprised if they also make a temple for Karishma Kapoor. Like in the South, they do it for all these Khushbu and all that. So perhaps they will also now, Bollywood will also build a temple for Karishma Kapoor, because they'll say that she is so innocent and she's so nice. Now, was Karishma Kapoor short of money? Is Tatya's question. Yeah, it looks like that is an obvious question that people are going to ask Tatya. We do not know what is her status, but what I've understood is that these people live a very, very lavish lifestyle. If you look at Kareena Kapoor's house and the number of cars they have and the way they jet set around, you know that no amount of money is enough. When they talk about servants, they have half a dozen servants just to look after two little kids and her, Kareena Kapoor and Saif. That's it. Why do they need so many servants? So even if they, I find it very funny, when Janvi Kapoor, or was it Ananya Pandey? I think it was Ananya Pandey, who was, just coming into the news because of Pia, and she had a little bag, very tiny bag. Even that she made someone carry it for her. So that's what happens when you get a star status, according to them. You don't do any work; you keep on, employing people to do all your dirty work for you. Ma'am, is there any direction in SSR and Disha Salian's case? No, not till now, because there seems to be, it seems to be a very dangerous cocktail where, politicians and Bollywood and, the cabal and all are involved in it. So if it is exposed, a lot of people will, find their heads rolling. So I'm sure that is the reason why people are very, very careful about not even touching it. So if you're only clean, then you can follow the case. If not, this is what is going to happen. Now, Dhanashree says, unfortunately, his name starts with S. And Milburn says, there's no video of him falling off when he got stunned, considering there must have been many mobiles filming the match. So it is rather strange, friends, that, this Bollywood death, the Bollywood marriages, because all Bollywood marriages mostly are fake, because you get a man marrying a woman who has, taste for her own gender. So you find such people, and suddenly there is a baby coming into the, into the picture. Now she's not pregnant, she doesn't have a stomach, and suddenly in the last few stages, you see that she has a very big bump. Now, we do not know what bump it is. Is it a silicone bump that they tie on to their stomachs? So, that's what happened. That's what has happened in the case of many of the actresses now. I will not name them, but you will know who we're talking about. So, in fact, even the attachment towards these children is almost nil. So they're just following on the Hollywood, trend, and now what's happening is, because of the DD case, everything has been exposed. Now, anybody who knows the truth and is going to expose it, they are the ones who are tracked and erased. And this is the same pattern that is happening in Bollywood. Even after Karishma was dating one of the businessmen after marriage, I don't remember his name. Also, another very strange incident that we found was that whenever Karishma Kapoor goes, abroad, what was reported was that she used to book the whole floor of that hotel. I do not know for what. Perhaps it is for all her friends or for some party, but that is what was reported. That whenever she went, she would, sort of book the whole floor. So if when someone says that she doesn't have money, it's obvious that she's got money. Otherwise, she wouldn't do that. Fake bellies are the done thing with Hollywood and Bollywood, says Milburn. So Lena says he stopped the polo match, got down, rubbed his chest, saying he wasn't feeling well. His death was tragic. While we do sympathize with him, Lena, we do see something is not quite right in this, in this case. So that is why we are exploring both these things, especially because when Kareena and Karishma started crying at the funeral, we did find it rather odd. We didn't know whether it was from a movie scene, because these people were so disconnected with him. The only time she would have met him would be when the children, are taken for holidays or whatever. So I do not know how she was attached to this man. Babita is a very shrewd lady. She's money-minded, self-obsessed. She ignored her cousin Sadhna. She was who was so versatile and a sweet person, says Vinny. So yes, we have heard about Sadhna being a very kind person and how she suffered in the last few years of her life. So that is absolutely true, Vinny. What happened to Fernandez case? Pradhan said Salman K will be in trouble, but nothing happens. How can Bollywood always get free? So, in fact, I think she's facing the best period of her life, if you're talking about Jacqueline Fernandez, because she seems to be seen everywhere wearing short dresses and short pants. So, she is enjoying her life. Thank God we were not born in these families, they need prayers, says Milburn. Absolutely. So I was also planning to talk to you about the mafia presence in the music industry. But since we have spoken so much about what happened in Karishma's case, we will reserve that for Monday. So with this, we'll say good night, Jai Hind, and Jai Shri Ram.